It's almost like being rich and moving out into the sticks and building a compound is preferable than being poor and having to live in the shit quality apartments that our economic system incentivizes by the investment opportunities that is housing. God damn it. Now that I'm all irritated and shit, let's go take a look at Tim Pool. So suicides in the U.S. have apparently hit an all-time high. I haven't really seen much of this, but I have an assumption that take everything that this woman talked about and maybe some of what I've mentioned, by the way. Take a little bit of this and keep in mind. Let's kind of hear what Tim Pool's explanation is for this feeling that people are at that are leading them to unalive themselves at record numbers.
Daily Mail reports suicides hit record high last year when nearly 50,000 Americans took their own lives. CDC report revealed that suicides in the U.S. are at an all-time high. I think a large component of this is what we see in cities. Obviously, COVID, I think, destroyed a lot of people, the lockdowns and all that stuff. But you come out to the middle of nowhere.
We were stuffing stacks of people in the backs of trucks, in the back of freezer trucks, because we couldn't house the number of dead bodies in hospitals. I have friends that worked in hospitals during COVID. These stories that they told me were fucking horrific. Were fucking like fucking Silent Hill type shit. Yeah, no shit. People were probably a bit disturbed after their experiences with COVID.
And what do you have? Fresh running water. Granted, you don't want to drink wild stuff. Right? You got to clean it and all that stuff. But we have a well. We have a well water with a filtration system. So there's no gunk. There's no weird chemicals. There's no chlorine. I'm pretty sure we have no chlorine. It's like a multi-stage filter with a UV light to clean it and kill the bacteria. No fluoride added. Just regular old well water. And we have the river is right down the road. Fresh fruit growing all across the property. It's ridiculous. Every month there's some new kind of fruit to eat, and we didn't even put it there. And you can even eat the leaves. Nobody wants to, but you can. A lot of grape leaves. We got so much grape.
Am I crazy? Did I like fall into an alternate universe for a bit? What the fuck are we talking about?
Where? And what do you have? Fresh running water. What we see in cities. Obviously, COVID, I think, destroyed a lot of people.
Cities,
the
right?
lockdowns and all that stuff. But you come out to the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And what do you have? Fresh running water. Granted.
Fresh running water. Oh yeah, fresh. Why don't you ask the people in fucking Michigan about fresh running water?
You don't want to drink wild stuff. Right? You got to clean it and all that stuff. But we have a well. We have a well water with a filtration system. So there's no gunk. Nice. There's no weird chemical.
Wow, that's nice. Rich guy has a bunch of resources to ensure that he has a sustainable and healthy water source. Wow, Tim.
There's no chlorine. I'm pretty sure we have no chlorine. It's like a multi-stage filter with a UV light to clean it and kill the bacteria. No fluoride added. Just regular old well water.
Dude,
and
if you don't have fluoride in your water, you're not drinking real water.
Fresh fruit growing all across the property. It's ridiculous. Every month there's.
Oh my God, this fucking rich prick is really going on and being like, look at this. We've got an entire fucking farm on my multiple acre compound that I paid by telling people that Marxism bad or whatever. Like, oh man, I don't know if I'll make it through this one. This is already fucking insulting. People are committing suicide and Tim Pool's over here like, oh yeah, like we have fresh running water. We have like fresh produce sourced locally from my farm. Like,
there's some new kind of fruit to eat.
Oh my
God. We didn't even put it there. And you can even eat the leaves. Nobody wants to, but you can. A lot of the grape leaves. We got so much grape.
Oh, we could wrap stuff with grape leaves.
Yeah, you could wrap them and soak them. Yeah, Chuck was talking about
what the fuck is happening?
So we're out here, and it's like a Disney fairy tale. Little animals run.
Does he think, wait a second. Does he think that this is just how everybody lives out in like the rural areas of the country? Does he not understand that everybody who lives in like rural Appalachia isn't fucking wealthy and have a compound that they can, sustainably source water and produce from? Like, oh my God.
running about with deer on the front
The
yard.
picturesque mountains in the
God.
forefront with the clean air.
Yep. You walk out, you look outside, you see clean air, you see mist rising. There's wild turkeys in the front.
It's almost
could-
like it's
back in the day.
It's almost like
They have-
he's
I
rich.
mentioned this, they
Oh
have
my
the
God.
guns in the kitchen, the muskets. And
Oh
I
my
asked
God.
the
What
guy,
the
like, what's the musket for? And they're like, oh, when they're cooking dinner, they open the back door, shoot a rodent, throw the rodent in the stew. And I'm like, wow, that's how they lived. It's like, you didn't even need to go hunt. You just like open the door and you wait and you're like, there we go, rabbit, bang. So we have wild turkeys in front of the house all the time.
I'm going to be fine
We
with your
don't do
jokes,
this, but we could literally just,
but I'm not
Why
sure
do you think
about
you have
dark
wild
Brandon.
turkeys, you fucking idiot? Oh my God. Yeah, you have rabbits and all the rest of it if you have a farm. Do you know how many people have the ability to have farms? What percentage of the U.S.?
capture, kill one anyone. We have deer all over the place. There's too
I
many
don't.
deer, actually.
I don't know. I don't know if I can
hope,
do it.
Like, the deer need to be killed.
This is.
I'm, you know, I don't want to be a dick, but there's like 25 of them, and there's poop everywhere, and they're just eating too much. Some people go out and they kill them, but you could just eat the deer. It's just like the food is
Yeah, no shit. That's usually what fucking hunter.
right there. In the cities, they use all this crazy chemicals. People's heads
God.
are whacked. They're on SSRIs. They live in these concrete blocks that smell like sour milk.
Yeah, that brake dust coming out of the cars.
I was gonna say all the car emissions that they walk through to get from tiny apartment building to the tiny
24/7
office.
because it goes into your apartments too.
It's like
It's almost like being rich and moving out into the sticks and building a compound is preferable than being poor and having to live in the shit quality apartments that our economic system incentivizes by the investment opportunities that is housing. God damn it. I don't know if I can do this. I genuinely don't know if I can do this. This is infuriating right now. Holy shit. Yes, Tim, being rich and moving into a compound in the middle of West Virginia is preferable than being poor and living in a city. Like no fucking shit. Why don't you go ask what poor people like living, what it's like living in poor Appalachia, where you don't have a shit ton of money so you can get fresh running water and fresh clean produce. Why don't you go do that? Go ask the people who actually are from that region, from the areas in which all industry was stripped of when, in the 1980s and 90s. Why don't you go and ask them how they're doing, how they like living near the mountains with the mist and the deer, even though they can hardly afford their mortgage anymore. Nobody lives in their towns anymore. Their infrastructure's falling apart. Their water's corrupted. Their produce is probably also not looking great either. They don't have farms. Like, oh, it's almost like resources makes your lives better. Like, fucking geez, fucking key to the universe.
Everywhere.
living in a sewer.
Is it like that in London too? You're from outside London?
Yeah, but I don't really spend much time there. But it is. I mean, the pollution is really, really bad. But
Yeah.
on the flip side, they're trying to push the climate change thing. So they're putting plant pots in the middle of roads to stop drivers going into central London. They're charging people every single day.
Yes, do it. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't. It. Yeah. Wait, you're gonna bitch about the fucking pollution, and then when they enact like incentives, and then when they build incentive structures that are there to disincentivize the accumulation, or at the very least the act of what am I looking for? Like they finally pass some fucking regulations that aren't even like you're not allowed to drive cars anymore. It's just, hey, if you drive cars, just understand that there's a cost associated with that, so that we can kind of get people to take it easy on the transport and everything else. Like, what do you fucking want? You want to bitch about the fucking problem, and then when there's a solution that isn't even like, I don't know, like the most maximalist authoritarian solution, then you're like, oh well, now it costs people like so much money to go and now it costs me all this money to go and drive my car and pollute the airwaves all the time. Well, what do you want? You want the airwaves, or you don't want the airwaves to pollute, you dumb fuck. Like, Jesus fucking H Christ. Do you want the air to be polluted, or do you not want it to be polluted? What do you want them to do? Fucking roll in an enormous fucking Scotland-sized fan and just all of the fucking pollution over to the Eastern Europe or into the ocean or something? You fucking moron. What do you think is gonna happen? Like, oh man, like the stupidity on display here. Oh my God, we are 2 minutes in. This video is 15 minutes long. We're not going to make it through this. I'm telling you that right now. We're not making it through it.
About $15 just to drive into central London. So that's even delivery drivers, truck drivers. So
Also, by the way, I'm just gonna point out, I'm gonna be a fucking, I'm gonna be a catty bitch right now. But I don't want to hear Ollie London talk to me when he's got his fucking gender madness book here with like fucking 18 layers of goddamn Photoshop. Like shut the fuck up with this. Jesus Christ. Who the fuck even is this guy? This dude's like some fucking idiot TikTok influencer and now has some kind of understanding of fucking climate science. Fuck off. Oh.
There's good and bad things about that. You know, I think it is a tough life though when people are going from the office, 9 to 5, they go straight to the house and they've got a tiny apartment. And for a 1-bedroom apartment in London, it's like $1,200, $1,300. So
That's
it's
not bad. Well, that's
cramped
actually
conditions,
not
a bit like
bad
New
at all
York. So it's
compared to
not
the
a way
United
for people
States.
to live. Like Tim was saying, it's much better. People are happier and healthier if they're living in a country.
Assuming that he's doing the dollar conversion, that it's actually $1,200 to live in London, that is fucking amazing. Especially like $1,200 to live in London. Fuck, I'd pay that price. I pay $1,200 to live outside of Denver. Like the fuck. And like if you go into Denver, it's not $1,200 to live in Denver. It's $2,000. Like,
Besides, I spend so much time outdoors, and it's so much nicer. It's
you definitely
fulfilling,
seem like
you feel
somebody who
that
spent
fresh
time
air and you
outdoors,
feel good,
Ollie.
and, you appreciate things. Like if you grow your own vegetables, you appreciate that taste. You don't think, oh, I can just buy what I want. It's consumption. It's you actually enjoy life a bit more.
Yeah. Here's a crazy thing. They have a racial breakdown and an age breakdown. It is mostly millennial white people who are committing suicide.
Oh my gosh.
Multi-racial.
Oh my God, it's mostly millennial white people. Could it possibly be that white people are a majority of the population? Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
Racial people are very low. I love this. But what you need to understand is that white people are the majority of the population. So
Okay.
percentage is what matters the most. And I think, as percentage change, you need to break down the amount of suicides by race, but by percentage of population. So it looks like white people are committing tremendous amounts of suicide, but it's actually fairly comparable. If you look at black or African, they're about 10% of
At
black population, and that's
at least you
actually-
contextualize
so it
it.
seems statistically average suicide across all racial backgrounds. But then you do notice that from 25 to 64, substantially more suicides, with the highest demographic being 25 to 44, which is millennial into
Yeah, no
younger
shit.
Gen X. It's freaky stuff, man.
So, okay, let's keep in mind, what are the conservative solutions to this? What are they? Work harder, get a better career. No, seriously. What are the conservative solutions to any of this? Oh, if only we all could agree on abortion, then everyone would no. Fucking that's not none of there isn't anything. The Republican Party in the United States does not run on economics. And the reason for that is simple. They have no interest in changing the economic system. They are fine with these numbers. They have no fucking interest in changing the system in which people live in. What Ollie London was describing there was late stage capitalism, where you go to work, you come home, you don't have any money to go out, so you just go on maybe your PlayStation, your Xbox, you hang out on the internet with your friends, surrounded by ads, surrounded by your data being siphoned and sold, sold across like a million different information brokers. That is the future that every single millennial and Gen Zer has to look forward to. You go to work, maybe you grab some lunch, you come home, you can't afford to go out, so you get online, you play some video games, they sell the data while you do that. You go to sleep, you go to work, you come home, you play video games, they sell your data. You go to sleep, you wake up, you go to work, you come home, over and over and over and over and over again. And they wonder why most young people have absolutely no interest in this format, in this kind of societal relationship. Absolutely none. Yeah, no, I mean, no, don't get me wrong. We were already there. Like, let me not like pretend that we're not. But like, this is the future that people have to look forward to. And it's a wonder why, like, nobody wants this. Everyone's like, this is fucking miserable. This is awful. I hate everything about this. And there's a reason for that. But like, what are the solutions for conservatives? Work harder, fucking be on your phone. That's fucking stupid. Thanks, Crash. I appreciate that. Anyway, let's keep going. Fuck Christ. Blood pressure's rising by the moment.
You know, whatever's causing this, people are having a breakdown. I think purpose matters. I think we could look at a lot of the issues that are causing something like this, and they're just directly correlated with cities. No community, no neighbors, no purpose, living in pollution and garbage, and running back and forth. It feels, I don't know, man. It just feels like the dark side.
And they can never get up the ladder. You know, they're stuck in those jobs for their whole life. They're just surviving, basically, you know, paying their bills. And it's really tough. And what's sad as well, most of these people likely have mental health struggles. And then you've got Canada that's legalizing euthanasia, including for people with mental health. So how many more people are going to feel...
What? Legal? Why are we talking about euthanasia? Okay, but I'm just, we're not stopping for this.
So hopeless that they're going to take their lives, you know, instead of, you know, sending all this money to different countries, you know, another 24 billion to Ukraine, you know, America should be investing in
another 24 billion to Ukraine. I don't know. Probably the only people who have it worse than us, who are living in under this like capitalist malaise, are, I don't know, the people getting bombed and fucking like invaded. That's really the only group of people that I'm like, all right, that might be a little bit worse. That maybe just a little bit. Like, you know, they have, you know, when they're done, when Ukraine is done defending itself, they also get to join the rest of the world in being miserable. But, you know, for now, they do have it just a shade worse. Getting fucking drone striked or whatever, or getting your city shelled constantly. Nah, I would say it's a bit worse than than what I described. Just barely.
Mental health, and let's help these people. We shouldn't be, you know, pushing people to, you know, feel that they've got no chance in life. Let's actually help them and support them with mental health.
I think it was someone was just saying we should reopen mental facilities. Was it Vivek?
What's it
you guys
called?
remember?
It might have been.
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Or we could just reformat
Reagan shut 'em
society
down in the early '80s, and that was a big
Put them in jails instead.
Yeah, and now we have this mental health crisis that just began like right when that big shutdown happened. So maybe it's time to, but like,
yeah, it's almost like once you shut down the ability for people to seek mental health care, it's almost like that will exacerbate the number of people. Like, yeah, no shit, thanks Reagan, as usual.
they were so horrible. So many people suffered so horribly in a lot of those places that was the justification for shutting them down. But that doesn't mean that we can't do it right or do something.
You gotta do something.
It also opens the door to, you are a political dissident, so the government says
They did in the U.S.
mentally ill.
sadly. In a lot of places in the U.S. they did.
Well, it's not federally legal, so off to the mental facility with you.
And you can't get out.
With armed guards, yeah.
With regular jails.
And like a lot of that industrial work went to fucking China. And how is the living standards in China? Like kind of some fucking shit too. Like unfortunately, our systems are just. We have a global economic system that's just not centered around people's happiness and people's passions. It's just there. Like we've turned so much. We've turned so much into cogs in the machine that now it's just, oh yeah, now you're just, you go to your little tiny micro apartment in China too. It's really no different. You know, people talk about like, people talk about the industrial like revolution that like China's gone under, but all they've really done is done what we do here in the US, but better. And that's subjugate workers under not great wages. Their standard of living has gone down precipitously. They don't really live in a democracy. They just go to work, they come home, they go to work, they come home, they play video games, and that's really it. Again, so, like they have no different relationship than we do.
So you'll get a term, and then you get out. Maybe you'll get out with good behavior, you get out early. But with mental facilities, and they determine whether you get out or don't.
I think a lot of these people are maybe not a lot, but returning veterans from the war in the Middle East, wars in the Middle East. When you come back and you realize, like, wait, there were no weapons of mass destruction. Wait, Osama bin Laden. We didn't go into Afghanistan for Osama bin Laden. I thought I just spent 6 to 8 years of my life willing to kill and seeing people get like.
And people hate me and look down on me and think that I'm bad for having been in the military. I mean, like, veteran suicide is serious and is a part of it. I think part of it is also.
Let me also say, people will say like, oh, societal, you know, when people are mean to veterans, that's the thing that like sends them into those kind of like episodes. I don't really think that we have strong data to back that up. I feel like if you ask veterans, you know, as much as people, there is a like history of people being really shitty to veterans, I feel like the fact that the VA has been continually like underfunded and the resources for it haven't ever been what they ever like have never been what they actually needed. I'm pretty sure that impacts veterans a lot more than just if people are not super appreciative of troops, even though I don't think that that's Vietnam was the last time I feel like we really saw this antipathy towards soldiers. I don't most Americans aren't really what's the word I'm looking for? Aren't spiteful of like Iraq war veterans, because most Americans think that they needlessly went over and died. Most Americans are anti-Iraq war, but not soldiers, because they understand that soldiers went over there and wasted their time. So I don't even know what she's talking about.
Social media. I mean, it's something that we see particularly among young people, anywhere from 15 to 35. You're seeing an increase in anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation.
Yes. I thought you were talking about military.
There might be a lot of
anti-military
but
sentiment.
I think ultimately we have bred.
Which anti-military sentiment is not the same thing as anti-troops. That's not the same thing. Military personnel and like the decision making at the military industrial complex is very different. Young people hate the military industrial complex. I don't think there's that same antipathy towards individual troops.
We have raised young people in a culture of hopelessness, and you must be reminded that every day if you're working a job that you don't like in a city where you feel like no one knows you, and you go home and you lie in bed and look on your phone for hours and hours and hours, and you feel like you're not getting the same amount of likes as someone else, and why aren't you doing more with your life? And that despair is
You remember what I said about competitive nature? About how the only thing, like the thing that we center, that they center, that conservatives center the economy and everything else around, is tapping into the competitive nature of people. Like, this is what I mean. Like, all it is they've turned like, they've turned Instagram, they've turned social media into a competition.
Terrible, where I think we need to have a culture that measures success not by online presence, but in the connections you have in real life.
I think if you look at this data, there's a really easy way to a really
literally
easy
doesn't
bit of
mean
data
anything
to show what's causing this. You can see that males are 3 times more likely, or 3 or 4 times more likely to commit suicide than females. So I think a large component of this is telling men they're evil, they are bad, they are wrong. No matter, I love
this is always cope. It'll always be cope. I'm not really gonna go into this much. Nobody, like, the idea that there are certainly people who are like misandrous. There isn't, we're not going to pretend here that there aren't misandrous individuals out there, but the idea that society tells men that they are evil or they are bad or whatever is just right-wing cope. The most you're going to see, mainly because like, and you know this because they had such a problem, I remember, with what is it? With toxic masculinity. Like, Republicans, conservatives, online especially, got so up in arms when toxic masculinity became a term that was a lot more widely used. Even though, like, toxic masculinity is just trying to get guys, men primarily, to interrogate the negative elements of their their masculinity, of the way that they conceptualize their masculinity, which, by the way, is a good thing. You should want to do that, because you interrogating the way you are, the way you think, the way that you like act around people, and the way that you present yourself is going to, I think, pay off in dividends later on, because you're not going to have this like format for life that doesn't actually comport with your values. So many men are told, like, and believe that they need to be strong, that they need to be a certain kind of man, but always measuring yourself to an ideal that you don't even fit into yourself will always make you more miserable. But conservatives had to turn toxic masculinity into a man-hating term, even though all toxic masculinity is, again, attempting to do is interrogate the negative and toxic elements of masculinity. Not that all masculinity or all men are evil. It's just cope. It's just all that ever ends up being is a willful misunderstanding, or I guess misinterpretation of the actual goal of interrogating masculinity. They don't want you to interrogate masculinity. They just want you to uphold the standard that we've always lived by, even though the standard is what has been making you miserable the entire time.
There was this article that talked about the glass cliff. It was like Linda Yaccarino is appointed to the board of X right when the company's about to implode. This is the glass cliff. And I'm like, man, you got a glass floor, you got a glass ceiling, you got glass walls, you got a glass cliff. Ladies be living in a big glass room. Is that it?
Don't throw stones.
That's right. That's what I was going to say. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. And so these people, they be doing nothing but.
Wait. Does he not understand what the glass cliff means? Wait, does he really not understand what the glass cliff means? No, okay. I've never heard that term, but isn't it kind of obvious that Linda Yaccarino she's not breaking the glass ceiling that by becoming a woman CEO? Because like, isn't that like if you're like a woman in the workforce and like business especially, right? You want to become the CEO, you want to become the big head honcho. That's like you breaking the glass ceiling is you ascending past what generally would be where your post stops. The idea that like woman CEO, you break that glass ceiling for yourself when you get there. The reason why it's a glass cliff for Linda Yaccarino is because she's tied to X. She's becoming the CEO of this like joke of a fucking platform now that's lost what I think like 30% of its value of its valuation, if I remember correctly. I'd have to look up the exact number. But like Twitter is not doing very well, and she's clearly been put in the role to basically see it fall off a cliff. Like that's the whole idea. It's not whatever. Guy in the box. I recommend we hear more of the beanie guy than the guy in glasses. Hey, whoa. Sensible Center, how dare you? How dare you? You like Beanie Man over Hat Man? Hats are superior to beanies. Let's be very clear about this. Don't get yourself banned, my friend.
Throwing stones. And so I'm like, no matter what happens to a woman in the workplace, it is the fault of patriarchy and men.
You better not throw
stones. And I'm
stones.
just like, dude, come on.
You're going to find yourself on a glass floor.
Elon Musk hired who he thought was the best person for the job. We were very critical of Yaccarino, I think is her name, right? Because she was a World Economic Forum individual. She's not being tossed off the glass cliff. She was given a prestigious position. You give a woman an executive position, well, it's the glass cliff to throw off the cliff.
Yeah.
You don't give it to her.
He doesn't get it. It's a cliff because it's a failing company. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, it's the glass ceiling. You give her a mid-tier job, and they say, "Well, that's the glass floor. Women are thrown out there because they're eye candy." Oh, just spare me, dude.
Well, and with Yaccarino, like them being like, they hired her right as the company was about to go downhill. Like, are you guys saying she's not capable of turning it around?
Yes.
Like, are you saying that you think she's not qualified for the job she was given? Like, are you sort of showing us what's actually happening here? I think there is such a weird conversation where women have to be protected at all costs because they can never think that maybe a man would have been better for their position, when ultimately we know that genders are...
What? Oh my God. I'm sorry. Okay. I gotta apologize. I got distracted because I got a wrestling headline and I looked away. What the fuck are they talking about? What?
Yes.
Are you saying that
Hit me
you
with
think
that
she's
again.
not qualified for the job she was given? Like, are you sort of showing us what's actually happening here? I think...
No. Oh, I can't. No, come on. No, I can't explain this. This is obvious. It's not a glass ceiling. It's a glass cliff because the company is some trash and she's moving up to just fucking watch the company burn to the ground. It's like if you became the CEO of like the Hindenburg right before it took off. Anyway.
There is such a weird conversation where
Sensible Center, you
women
would like
have to be
Elon,
protected
wouldn't
at
you?
all costs because
Doesn't
they
help
can
that
never
Elon
think
Musk
that
doesn't vet his
maybe a
employees,
man
his
would have been better for
employees.
their position, when ultimately we know that genders are function differently. I mean, it goes right down. You can study newborn babies and see a difference in the way their brains naturally developed. You can't tell me a newborn baby
Post
has
on
been
X even.
socialized at
Yeah,
all.
isn't like Elon, isn't fucking Twitter like just rampant with bots now? Because they don't have the team that was normally on there.
All. We know there are extreme differences, and instead of having a society that prepares people to pursue things that fall along those lines, we're saying constantly
worse.
like something's oppressing you, something's bad. Actually, you're the problem. Actually, you need to stop the way you are and conform to what
Aren't
we
safe,
want. from you.
yeah.
It's just toxic.
I think divorce is another one. I was
Sponsored
just
by
watching
users, man,
Soft White
beautiful.
Underbelly on YouTube. Highly recommend.
Sensible Center, I'm gonna ask, do you have a blue check? I'm kind of curious. I want to meet a blue checker one of these days.
Recommend the one with the divorce attorney that is just recently came out a few days ago, and he was saying that like in divorce proceedings,
Okay, I'm
the
gonna stop
guy
reading
tends to get the raw
wrestling
end of
headlines.
the stick. It's like if the
Mhm.
guy cheats on
Thank
the
God.
girl, the guy's trash. He's a piece of shit, junk. If the girl cheats on the guy probably wasn't doing enough to support her. So
What? Oh, okay. No. Okay. Does that happen? Okay, let's stick a flag in the moon right fucking now. Let's do this right now for this platform, for this show, for this channel, for me. If you are a guy, you cheat on your girlfriend, piece of shit. If you are a girl, cheat on your boyfriend, piece of shit. We are not doing this like whatever he's talking about. We're not doing this here. Let's get that really clear right now. I can't stand that shit. It's fucking stupid. I said earlier, they're a misandrist, absolutely the same way they're a misogynist. I'm not one of these people who thinks that power dynamics preclude people from being either, misogynist or misandrist or racist or any other thing. Anybody of any group can obviously be a piece of shit no matter what. Let's just get that clear. Power dynamics only come into factors when we're talking about like legislation, when we're talking about like macro impacts. Individuals, pieces of shit. Just get that really clear. I don't want anybody to think that I'm like one of the people he's talking about. That's fucking ridiculous. I hate that shit. It's so fucking stupid. I've seen people do that too, where they're like, oh, but what did the guy do? It's like, no, fuck that. No, stop that. Stop that right now. Stop with that.
she had to go.
They're more
find-
likely to lose custody of their children. I mean, it's
And
brutal.
so to be 18 or 16, I mean, was this around you? This like men are bad? Is that
Wait, what are you talking about? Bro, your side glorifies simping for I was like a simping of thoughts? OnlyFans? What's wrong with OnlyFans? That's more cringe than 8 per month for Twitter Blue. You have to admit that at least. I don't pay for either of those things though. Wait, what's wrong? Wait. Twitter Blue doesn't get you anything. Twitter Blue, you get a check mark and you get privilege. You're like Twitter Blue, you're literally like paying to win. But like for speech on Twitter, it's literally pay to win. It's pay to win on Twitter. It's like no. Let's see, what is this? And then like that to me is kind of sad. If you're paying for OnlyFans, I mean, it's sex work. I don't really care that much because at the end of the day, you're paying for like labor, right? Like somebody let's take I don't know who's on OnlyFans. I don't have a deep awareness of OnlyFans. If I want to watch porn, I just watch free porn like a normal person. But I'm trying to think like what who's like an OnlyFans person? Like who's an OnlyFans? Give me an OnlyFans person. I don't know OnlyFans people. Give me like somebody to format this around. Whoever you think is like the worst OnlyFans person. Sim detected. I mean, that is labor also. Like modeling is labor. And also like people pay Tim Pool to talk about politics. You know, like one day I hope people pay me for doing what I do on here. That's still work. I mean, I don't get what the like simp thing is. I suppose I just like, who cares? Like if people pay for that, I suppose you're getting access to stuff. I just don't really see what the big problem. People are selling products. Are you not in favor of free market? Okay, taking a photo of your butthole isn't labor. I don't. Are people paying for? Okay, so are the top people on OnlyFans just taking like what's the word I'm looking for? Like just snapping a picture of their genitals and then that's it? I don't think that's how OnlyFans works. I don't know, but I don't think that's how you're going to be successful. Like you're usually successful if you're doing like modeling, if you're doing, kind of more you know what it is? I just thought about. You know what it kind of is? It's like paying for Playboy back in the day. Do people remember Playboy? It's like a magazine. You pay to see titties in a magazine. Maybe there's some articles that you can scapegoat to say that you read. I'm sure you've heard oh yeah, I paid for Playboy for the articles. Like that's a thing. I don't really see much of a difference between those two things. You're paying for a product. You're not really getting anything out of it. You're getting like a product, but that's kind of all you're getting. You're getting somebody's photos. If they do a photo shoot, obviously there's lighting. There's quite a lot of other things. And I know OnlyFans people do OnlyFans for other things. It's not all sexual, but I know a big portion of it is. But yeah, sex sells. What Elon is selling is literally privileged speech. I don't know. I just find that to be. I feel like if you're insecure about women, right? If you are like not really good around women and you pay for like an OnlyFans account or a subscription or whatever, and like you get some photos from some celebrity, maybe, they're a bit saucy, I think that's kind of like, that's not great. I don't love that. I would prefer you be more secure in your ability to speak to women and interact with women, certainly. But like, if you're asking me which I hold a little bit like between that and being so insecure about like your speech, about the opinions that you share, that you are willing to fork over $8 for somebody like Elon Musk to privilege your speech because you know that you can't win in a marketplace of ideas. I actually think that that's like kind of sadder. That's like just a shade more pathetic to me that you're so unconfident in your own speech, as opposed, because like I feel like everybody I feel like has the experience, or at the very least has experienced like insecurity around women, or most guys I should say at least. And like, there's like, that kind of like, oh man, maybe, I don't know what the demographics are for people who pay for OnlyFans. Again, maybe it's on the younger side. I'm not really sure. But if you're like a younger guy, maybe you're like, oh, I'm really insecure. I'm really not good with women. This, it gives me something. Like, yeah, again, that's not great. But if you can't even like defend your opinions, you have to have this, again, privileging of those opinions. I hold less respect for that, I guess. Let's see. Okay, let me find that drug dealers also sell a product. Yeah, I also think people have a right to buy drugs. I'm pretty what's the word? Lenient when it comes to drug use. Benefit society. I don't think all products have to benefit society. I think a value assessment on everything isn't really necessary. Only under capitalism do you need to have like something that always benefits society. Sometimes just benefiting a few people is good enough for me. Vast majority of women doing OnlyFans aren't successful. Yeah. All they end up doing is humiliating themselves in the long run. It's degrading. I kind of think that that's their assessment to make. That's not really your place. I mean, you can have that opinion. I don't think you're precluded from having that opinion, but I also don't really think what's it called? If they don't find it humiliating, like I don't get what's humiliating about it. What, you get some saucy pictures, you look good, people are willing to pay you. I don't get what's humiliating about that. Not at all. In terms of degrading themselves, that's just I don't know. I just disagree. I don't really find sex to be that taboo. That might just be the European inside of me, even though I have no European ears. Love OnlyFans women, they're great. Yeah, see, Crimson gets it. Mixed bag. Demographics do lean towards younger men. That's what I thought. I thought like that's kind of the sense I get. It would probably be younger men. Anyway, let's finish this up.
Why you feel like I don't want to be, or I don't feel right as a guy? Like,
so it wasn't like it is now when the patriarchy is constantly mocked.
Okay, sorry. We're gonna go back just to kind of get a.
Came out a few days ago, and he was saying that like in divorce proceedings, the guy tends to get the raw end of the stick. It's like if the guy cheats on the girl, the guy's trash. He's a piece of shit, junk. If the girl cheats on the guy probably wasn't doing enough to support her.
Do I need to say that it's the patriarchy, or do you all understand this? I don't think I need to say it. It's obviously the patriarchy.
So she had to go.
They're more likely to lose custody of their children. I mean, it's brutal.
So to be 18 or 16, I mean, was this around you? This like men are bad? Is that part of why you feel like I don't want to be, or I don't feel right as a guy? Like,
so it wasn't like it is now when the patriarchy is constantly mocked, and you saw the Barbie movie. That was kind of.
Wait. Am I crazy? Ollie London isn't transgender. What? Yeah, Ollie London isn't transgender. They did like the thing where they wanted to look like Jimin, I think, from BTS. But they okay, I'm okay.
Of mocking men.
They wanted to be fucking Asian.
So you saw the Barbie movie mocking men, but it wasn't around then. But I had a kind of difficult relationship with my dad. He was very masculine. He was trying to get me to do all these outdoor things, and I didn't get on with him. So I was trying to reject that. So that was part of the reason why I became more feminine and more like a girl and stuff. But I think nowadays we're really seeing this division.
Again, okay, we're just
a breakdown of masculinity, because it's very hard to find just normal masculine guys now, right? Because we're having this society that's emasculating men. And again, the Barbie movie, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was cool. I love all the colors and the outfits and stuff, but I think it was mocking men and trying to make men look bad and tell women, you don't need a man, you don't need to settle down. And they even mocked the pregnant.
Oh my goodness, let us consider the social consequences of their actions. Sounds impossible. Oh my God, sensible center. You okay. Let's see. Also Crimson based. This type of reasoning you espouse is common leftist bullshit, okay? How does it affect you personally? Shit tier logic when we have a generation of women being told they can just become e-whores. This has a cascading effect on the rest of society. For example, a record number of men are sexually inactive and remain virgins longer than the previous generations. Less procreation equals less kids. Kids equals less ability to sustain the labor market. Okay. So let's interrogate this just a little bit. So if we're going to do the, how does this affect you personally? Well, I'm assuming it kind of, you seem pretty sensible center. Are you a virgin? You seem pretty dedicated to this line of thinking. Second of all, this is true. There are cascading effects to women having a bit more freedom. What they are, should men kind of grow up a little bit and maybe, I don't know, evolve past this like 1950s fucking archaic format for masculinity? Yeah. The problem we have, especially these days, is that there are men in older generations who have this need, this desire. They are, for whatever reason, driven to fucking continually promote this format of masculinity that is not what's the word I'm looking for? That is not applicable to modern society. They have this fucking ancient conception of masculinity, of what men are supposed to be, what men are supposed to do. That is the actual problem. And because of that format, because of that kind of socialization and programming, you have all of these guys who have an inability to communicate and court women in 2023. Most guys don't, like, I'm not going to say most guys. A lot of guys who have problems with women, do you know why they have problems with women? Because they don't know how to fucking talk to women. Because they're so hung up on this, like, I need to be masculine, I need to be a man, I need to take care of the women, I need to be the masculine role model that my dad told me that I need to be, I need to do all of these things. And they don't actually know how to do any of this stuff. Because every time they try to be that masculine man, every time they try to take care of the women turn around and inform them that, hey, I don't need you to be that anymore. Women don't need men to be this version anymore. Update, goddammit. You're running Windows Vista, bitch. Update. We're on Windows 11 now. I'm on Windows 10. But we're on Windows 11 right now. Catch the fuck up. Women have made so much goddamn progress over the last 40 to 50 years in terms of their place in the society, and men, unfortunately, have decided that we're just going to stay the exact fucking same, that we're just going to not at all accommodate or acclimate to the new what's the word I'm looking for? Relationship between men and women. That we're just gonna, oh yeah. I remember like 20 years ago, it was magical somehow when we told guys, hey, guys, fellas, you need to be a little bit more sensitive. Maybe, maybe like talk to women a little bit more, maybe express your emotions. And that was a big debate 20 years ago. Where like, should men show their emotions? Shouldn't we stamp down those emotions? We need to make sure that no. God damn it. Go talk to women. Go talk to if you're a younger guy, go talk to your mom. Go talk to your mom's friends. Go interact with adult women and understand how they actually fucking live in this society. Stop living in the past and start acclimating to the goddamn present. And there's so many older guys that want to sell you this future that is never going to come. Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool, Ollie London, all of these guys get paid from older guys than them to sell you on something that's never coming back. You aren't getting you're not gonna live Mad Men. I'm sorry, it's not coming back. So either A, you buck up and you fucking understand the world you live in and adjust, or B, you can continue to mold. But like these are your options. Adapt or fucking perish. God damn it. Typical. Yeah, like, because again, like you're chasing the past and it's not gonna happen. You can throw out all of the sure you have. Oh yeah, that insult, you really got me there, Sensible Center, by the way. You can throw out like all the little data points. Oh, more men are having sex less. Yeah, because more men don't know how to approach women, don't know how to interact with women. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You keep trying to insert, you keep trying to rebuild this patriarchal format. It ain't gonna happen. Women aren't going back. So you might as well get used to it. You might as well learn to understand women as equals. And if you're sitting here and you're thinking like, I don't know how to be a man unless, I'm the breadwinner, unless I'm taking care of the women. I was always told that's what I'm here for. Guess what? You've been freed. You're no longer here for that purpose. Be you. Do the things that you like. Be the person that you want to be without these restrictions. You don't have these fucking chains on you anymore. Fucking run. Jump. Enjoy life. Stop trying to chain yourself and other people down because you think it's going to make you happier. It ain't.
Pregnant Barbie and that. So I think it's kind of teaching kids, or teaching young girls, you don't need a man in life. And, it's essential for starting a family, right? And growing. So,
and I think guys are seeing that and thinking like, I'm not needed. If they're telling girls they don't need men and I'm a man, that means I'm not going to be needed. Why am I even here?
I have no purpose. Yeah.
And that's why we don't see.
Yeah, this is what I mean. They're doing the like, oh, you don't have a purpose. No, you have. Guess what? You now get to choose your purpose. Take this. Like people look at this like, oh, men don't have a. No, you now get to choose. You have a right to choose your goddamn purpose. Do it for your betterment.
Strong, solid relationships anymore, or marriages. A lot of marriages failing, or people just hooking up on apps like Tinder or Bumble because they don't see the purpose of it. Everything is so fast in modern society. You just go on an app, you find someone.
I love the idea that like people are yearning for relationships, but like this guy gets on and is like, oh yeah, people don't value them. No, they do. They don't know how to operate in a lot of them. And not only that, operating in relationships in 2023 isn't the same as it was when we were all younger. We all grew up with like a certain conception of how dating and like being in relationships is like, and it's just so much different now. It's so much different now.
Someone new, so they don't build that connection, which I think is really sad.
That was
Fuck, I
another
grew
thing
up
we
with
were
like
talking
10
about,
things I hate
15
about
years
you.
ago, your
And like
your
those
dating
kinds
pool
of
was like who
movies.
you
And
knew
it's so
and who you were
different
around.
now.
Now, even when you're like married or you're in a fully committed family
Until work
relationship,
brings
if
the
you go
money
to
in,
check
that's
your
perfectly-
your
yeah.
notifications, you see
Oh,
women
dude, that's like yeah, and like that would be like the whole stay-at-home dad, Mr. Mom sort of thing. That would be looked down upon in like when I was growing up. That was like you weren't being a man. Like you would get criticized for that. But if that's the format for your life that fits, then who the fuck is somebody like Sensible Center to come in here and tell you that like that's wrong, or any of these other fucking yodels out here? Like, it's just what people need is the freedom to choose their lifestyle and their format for their lives, and like centering our society, our economy especially, around accommodating all of those people through like affordable housing, through affordable childcare, through all of these things, wages actually increasing for once. That's how we actually get to a better community, not towards going back to men being men or whatever this nonsense is.
women's faces, like the faces of hundreds of different women. It's just such a like an erotic mess. It's not natural stimulation. At least it wasn't up to this. Now maybe we have to start considering it.
He's kind
it's
of right about
artificial,
this, to a
but
degree.
it may be becoming part
But
of our nature.
there's
But it is counterintuitive
more
to
to
the
it.
marriage like monogamy structure. That's something else this divorce attorney was talking about too. Jeez, it's a weird. But I mean, if we don't have kids, then the human race will not proceed.
And
so.
this is why
And do you want to know why? Do you want to know why they always bring it back to this, like, oh my God, society is crumbling? No, it's not. No, it's not. Go over to India, go over to China, go over to the rest of the world. Humanity is fine. We are doing fine. The world is not crumbling because we aren't having enough kids. The world is crumbling because we're fucking destroying the goddamn planet. And not only that, what kind of world? Think about this for a minute. They live under a conception that we need more people to be born so that they can what? Join the exact same fucking routine that the rest of us have? I said it earlier. What do people do these days? They wake up, they go to work, they come home, they play video games. Somebody steals your data while you're doing that. You go to sleep, you do that over again. Your life doesn't really move. It just gets commodified. Every interaction you have on the internet gets commodified. It's why we've all been pushed onto the internet so much. So all of our data, all of our activity, everything we think about, everything we Google, all of it can be commodified and sold to somebody up at the top who can then sell it to somebody else and make some money off of it, or bet on it, or anything else, right? And like their world conception, or at the very least the world that they want more people to be in, is that world. They want more people to enter into that social contract. Why the fuck would anybody want to bring kids into that world? I've talked to a few other like people in my age range, and also a few like Gen Zers, and none of them want to have kids because they don't want to bring them into this. They don't want to have kids and then watch them enter into the go to work, come home, play video games, go to work, come home, play. They don't want them in that cycle. So how do we change it? We don't change it through just having more kids. We don't change it through women just kind of accepting old style, the traditional masculine man again. We have it through labor organizing. We have it through readjusting how we organize our societies. We've lived under capitalism for so long, and what it's gotten us at the end of it is a vicious cycle. We need to, and this is where I'm kind of joking because it's not this simple. We need to choose socialism. That's what we need. We need to choose socialism. We need to choose a economic and societal format that centers people's passion and people's creativity and people's collectivism, not just around people's competitive nature and greed, greed is good and everything else. Because that's what we have right now. And like, again, I'm being very flippant, like we can just flip the switch on socialism, but we as a species made a choice hundreds of years ago to move on from feudalism, to move on from slavery. We can do that again. We just need We just need, I think, the drive, and we need the people behind us to say, this isn't working for us. This whole format just isn't working for us. We need something different, something that centers people more than it does centering money and everything else. Anyway, I've ranted for a really long time. Let's finish this up. I know I said that before.
Young men are skewing conservative. It's why young men are fans of Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson. Because you've got, finally, they're being talked to. They're being explained their value. They're being explained their
And this is the thing. They're out
responsibilities,
competing us.
their
China's out competing us in the
And
capitalist
the
market.
left is
Don't
really,
be
really
confused
funny.
by
I
them
think it was
calling it
Vosh
by the CCP.
who
It's
tweeted
not
something like,
communist.
the reason young men are becoming conservative is because the right is talking to them. We need to do this. And the response from all these leftists was, oh, boo-hoo, poor men, shut up, spare me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting here laughing, being like, just keep on ragging, just keep on hating. And more guys are going to be like, screw you, I'm leaving.
At first, I was hurt by a
Yeah. And do you notice what the difference is here? Do you notice that leftists, I just went on a pretty big rant about men and being like, hey, you need to grow the fuck up. You need to learn. You need to talk to more people, talk to more women, all the rest of the stuff that I said, right? But what is Tim Pool's answer? Tim Pool's answer is to just tell you the thing that you want to hear. If you're a guy out there and you go to Tim Pool or you look to Tim Pool for some kind of advice as being a man, understand he's not going to give you anything you don't already know. He's going to tell you all the things that you already think in the shower, all the things that you stay up late staring at the ceiling thinking about. He's not going to give you answers that you haven't already thought of yourself. And guess what? His answers are going to work just as well as they worked for you when you thought of them. That is to say, they don't. Guys out there, it's tough. I'm not saying it's not tough. It's tough being a guy out there. It's tough being everybody out there. The best thing you can do, if you're a guy, you want to meet women, you want to be more successful in the dating pool, the best thing you can do, talk to more women. And I'm not saying talk, if you're 15, 16, 17, if you're in that high school age range, I'm not talking about talk to the girls in your class. Talk to your mom, talk to your aunts, talk to if you have friends who have moms, talk to them. Understand and learn and educate yourself, really educate yourself on communicating with adult women. You will understand far better after communicating with adult women how to approach women than you will trying to, holla at, whatever girl is in your 5th period class. I've been out of high school so long. I don't know what school's like these days, but educate yourself a little bit. Interrogate that.
a girl. I blamed her. It was my fault, a lot of it, when in my 20s. So I was happy to watch this division proceed in 2011, 12, 13. I'm like, good. She deserves it. All women deserve it. I was so angry. But it's like a snowball. It's
called living on
avalanche
spite.
rolling down a hill. Once it gets started, it's gone out of control now. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we can grains of sand and kind of slow the thing down because it's not a literal avalanche, but it feels like this momentum of divisiveness between men and women has been picking up steam, and that's concerning. Of course, it's shit can get changed really fast.
Well, I would
with
think
internet.
movies like Barbie are sort of accelerating this, right?
Oh,
There's men to blame, and that's
I don't know. I
in fact
thought
right.
Barbie was making fun of women.
I've never seen it, so
Yeah, I
I
haven't seen
can't
it either.
comment.
Look at this dipshit. Hasn't even seen it. Ugh.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought it was more mocking men. It was basically teaching women, don't settle down with a man. You don't want to get married. And there was 2 scenes where there was a pregnant Barbie, and Will Ferrell was the CEO of Mattel, and basically they were mocking the pregnant Barbie like she was a discarded model. So it was teaching, young girls, don't have babies. And there was a scene at the start.
Yeah, the joke was that was shitty behavior on Mattel's part. We're
You might
moving
have seen
on.
it in the trailer where these kids were on the beach and they had these baby dolls. They were looking
Yeah.
after them. Barbie came along. Suddenly they smashed them. So I thought that was almost a subliminal message telling
I
kids.
love how
don't have
much
babies
Greta
or,
Gerwig knew
because
how these people would
it's not what we want
misunderstand
in
her
society anymore, so-
filmmaking.
I mean, I didn't see it, but my
Oh my god, did nobody see this fucking movie and yet I had to hear about it? You fucking idiots. You fucking morons. All right, yeah, that's what I thought. Go see Barbie. It's a good movie. It's a fun movie. It's the thing. The thing that they tell, at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to click on one of these things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to film one.